Hold on, guys. Hold on. Who's that antivirus guy? Yes, that's the truth, guy. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Yes, I've got, it's like so many things going on here. Mic isn't picking up your voice. Yes, it's not going to pick up my voice until I change the mic, as I just did now. Okay, hold on here. Lots to coordinate here. I got to go close this now. I got to shift device, close this. So much to coordinate here because we're multicasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. So hold on. Gotta get ready here. Then I gotta twist around, move my chair, move the mic, so I can rant. Rant, people. Gotta rant tonight. Hey, Starlight. So aloha, Hawaii dealer. Yes, we're gonna rant, guys. I made a video. Yesterday. I did not publish it. I made a video. Then I listened to the video, and this is the way I talk in the video. Da 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 da, and I was like, Zuck. I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that when I'm on Periscope. The way when I'm on Periscope, I'm zucking, talking like this. I'm saying, Zuck you, mother zuckers. Zuck. So we're going to talk about being zucked tonight. Zucked. Zuck. We're always zucked. We're zucked on YouTube. We're zucked on Periscope. We're zucked everywhere. We're zucked on Facebook. Squamish. Hello, people. It's Friday night. Yes, I had adult beverages. There's no question about that. There's no question. For sure, Braveheart. I'm sure you're using Braveheart. I'm trying to get zucked. My name on Twitch is Rob Braxman. Twitch is Rob Braxman. I think I don't have a tech on there. It's Rob Braxman on Twitch, Rob Braxman Tech on YouTube, Rob Braxman Tech on Twitter, and then I changed my Twitter one, and then Rob Music on Periscope. So get that figured out, guys. Get it figured out. 2 drinks before each video. So I had, good amount of a bottle of wine before this particular broadcast. That's why I feel like I'm feeling Zuck YouTube. Don't Zuck YouTube. I'm on Zucking YouTube. Follow me on YouTube, people. Subscribe to my YouTube. Zuck. You think I'm gonna survive on Zucking Periscope? You think I'm gonna survive on Zucking Periscope? By the way, so there's rumors that they're gonna change this to Twitter Live. I don't know. I don't see any move that says. I don't see any signs for switching this to Twitter Live, but it's interesting though. Twitter Live. Okay. Anyway, hello, Claire Peters. How are you, my good friend? And but I've had adult beverages. Is there any doubt in anyone's mind that I had adult beverages? D Pace, what's up? Somebody was saying that they were getting on Twitter videos. Periscope broadcast being shared by some guy named D Pace, and they were wondering who that is. You play better with a couple of beverages. Twitching this. Same old D Pace. So are you do you have a special agreement with Periscope, D Pace? I've not. I had 4 white Russians. Is that racist? Claire Peters, are they male or female? Every time that sound goes off, I keep thinking it's my hard drive. I'm working, and that is worst sound I can hear when working. What the fuck does that mean? $1 chuck is $2.89. Well, a bottle of wine is not $2.89. So, agreement to do what? I don't know. Somebody was complaining about some guy named D Pace sharing things that are appearing on people's broadcasts on people's home screen, shared by some guy named D Pace. The crypto token from Zuck? Zucked again. Oh my gosh, guys. I don't know. It was just so depressing so depressing, guys. So depressing. So depressing to go look at my YouTube and just see the comments on there. It's what am I doing this for? Hopefully if you follow me, you subscribe to my YouTube account, and I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube account. If you subscribe to my YouTube account, you should expect me to talk about what I talk about, right? Is it a secret that I'm going to say, Zuck you, mother Zucker, and all that? That's not a secret, right? So my topic will be, definitely be anti-Zuck. So when somebody goes to YouTube and says, I can't change my habits, this privacy stuff is too much. I think I'm okay with just having all this company spy on me and everything. I think I can handle that. I'm not going to worry about it. So we'll just ignore that, and I'll just progress. Keep doing my life the way it's been, and I don't have to worry about evading Zuck because it doesn't matter. And it's like, boy, that just I don't know. That just hit a nerve. It just hit a nerve, and not a response to the person who's giving that, because he's actually very typical. But my response is that in general it just shows that I've zucking lost it. I can't win this battle when only 1% of you actually ever listen to me. 1%. If I can get like maybe 10% to listen, then we'll make progress. But right now I'm at zucking 1%. Okay? Does anyone actually pay attention to what I say? 1%. It's just so zucked up. I don't know what to say. 1%. And it's like it's depressing to me when I can't make progress. Maui Club is just somebody made a comment. I'm going to tell you the story here. Somebody made a comment about my video, and the video was about browser. What browser to use to protect yourself? Okay, what browser to use to protect yourself? And so I made this elaborate video to explain browser isolation technique that I use to basically lock Facebook out of your data to keep them from spying on you. And the response I get is, well, that's so inconvenient that I don't think I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to simplify it for you guys. I'm going to simplify it for you. You know what? It's not really going to be that difficult to retain your privacy. It's just going to be a few techniques, and it's not going to be so bad if you are not on Zucking Zuckbook. I mean, it's the reason I made that video is because some of you just persist in saying you can't help it. You have to be on Zucking Facebook, even though I've told you over and Zucking over that this Zucking guy, Zuck, is committing evil things against you, and you don't Zucking care. I've been repeating this over and over. I can't believe that the kind of evil that this guy does. Okay? He doesn't care about you whatsoever. He wants to take advantage of you at every turn. And your response is, yeah, I guess my family pictures are on Facebook, so I guess if I have to keep in touch with my family, I can't do anything. I gotta just stay on that. My Thoughts Mint. Just use DOS for your Zucking browser. My Thoughts Mint. How are you doing, buddy? I didn't realize you subscribed to me. Thank you for subscribing to my account. So I'm like, I'm just, I don't have to tell you about browser isolation. Browser isolation, that whole video I made on YouTube about browser isolation doesn't even apply if you're not on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can ignore that. I don't have to follow those procedures. I don't have to follow any procedure relating to browser isolation. Why? Because I am not on Facebook. How hard is that? Sorry, I'm too loud. I'm sorry. I'm shouting here. Shouting because I've had adult beverages and this is just making me mad. Okay? It's really, life is so simple. If you're not on Facebook, the threat is reduced by 50%. If you're not on Facebook, 50% reduction in threat. 50%. A lot of the stuff I talk about, you don't have to do if you're not on Facebook. Do you really think Periscope is really that different than Facebook? Yes, obviously it's quite different, Tony. If you don't get that, do I have to go through this explanation what the difference is? Your web is laggy. Zuck boycott box. What else do we complain about today? I've had adult beverages boycott box. Don't Zuck with me tonight, boycott box, my good friend. Abusive husbands. Some still love it. Maui, that's pretty funny. I don't know. To me, it's like worse than that. It's abusive husband. really abusive, like beats you up every day. So boycott box, my good friend. So yep. Zuckbook is like yeah. Zuck is like a wife beater. Zuck is like wife beater. It's like beats you up every night, comes home drunk, beats you up every night, and and after your face is like full of bruises because this Zuck beats you every night. Then you come in the next morning and says, "Would you like some breakfast, honey? Can I make you some breakfast?" It's like, suck you, Zuck. Suck you, Zuck. Hello, Kim. How are you doing, Kim? Okay, I don't mean to ignore the comments. Gosh, I'm just talking here. So let me make sure I got everyone here. So Claire Peters and My Thoughts meant so much, Zuck. People are so conditioned. I saw that in Braxme. It's pretty simple. I posted the post on Braxme, so you know. Did you catch the book title written by Capitalist Data Mining? No. I hate Facebook. I'm done. No, you are still on Facebook. Entire Meyer. Hello, Entire Meyer. Entire Meyer or Donzo has been broadcasting. You should follow his account so you can see what Donzo the Gnome is broadcasting about. You make him dinner afterwards. Breakfast too. Love your rants. Thank you, Kim. So I don't want to miss any comments from YouTube here, because I get so animated, and then especially after you have a lot of drinks. Kim, I know it's Saturday morning for you, but it's Friday night here, and Friday night is adult beverage night. Zuckbook so contrite and promises never to hit you again, and then hits you again and again and again, and people say, I don't really care. It's the inconvenience. I don't want to do browser isolation for Facebook because it's too inconvenient. So I'm just gonna let Zuck me over and over. I'm gonna give you a good tip, people. It's not that hard. You leave Zuckbook. It's not inconvenient anymore. That's all you have to do. I know, 3:15. Wow. That's all you need to do. Leave Zuckbook. Life is great. Simple. Oh, I can't leave Zuckbook because my family's there and they won't leave Zuckbook. It's like, Zuck you. I mean, I can't help you. I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. And I'm so frustrated. I'm reading YouTube comments. People's commenting to me in YouTube about the stuff I talk about. It's just frustrating, people. Frustrating because it's like, I'm trying to help you. And the response is, I can handle advertisers. I don't really care if they tell me what good camera to buy because they can track my movements. I'm okay with that. It's like, oh my gosh, sheep. See, that's why Zuck is winning, because everyone is sheep. Yes, that's what the title's all about. That's why Zuck wins. All are sheep. So this is what Zuck does to you. Hello, QT lady, Legnarn. So Zuck says this: I don't really care about this GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation of the EU, about making sure they can erase their data and so on. I don't really care about that. So how do I Zuck them up? So nothing changes, but we can Zuck up everyone who joins Facebook. How do we do that? Easy, people. Easy. Zucking easy, people. How do you do it? By framing the terms of service to say, we're going to Zuck you here, 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 we're going to Zuck you everywhere. But you're not going to care, so it doesn't matter what we tell you. But legally, we're covered because we told you we're going to Zuck you everywhere. Which, by the way, I read the data policy, Data policy Facebook. That was one of my broadcasts from 3 weeks back. And I read it all, and I told you how they Zuck you left and right. And then the response of the people said, they say, oh, it's too inconvenient to leave Facebook. It's too inconvenient to follow any procedures. It's too inconvenient to disrupt what Zuck is doing. So we'll just let Zuck do it because I'm old. It doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. It's not going to make any impact. It's like, say, Zuck. Okay, what's gonna happen to our future? What is your favorite place to get zucked? Oh gosh, my thoughts been. Why are you not on the Periscope? You don't like Periscope anymore. My thoughts been perfect. Stay on YouTube. I don't know. My thoughts meant. Where do you like to? Where do you like to get zucked? I'm telling you, if you stay on Facebook, you'll be zucked left and right, and your response is, "Okay, I'm going to upload my photos with EXIF data to Facebook, so that they know everything about me." And my response is, "It's okay. It's only Facebook. He's a good guy. Zuck seems like a nice guy, so we're gonna give it to him." So it's like, oh my gosh, Zuck! Oh my gosh, even Zuck is here. Oh my gosh, I'm like, my oldest friends on Periscope have actually joined me on Zucking YouTube. You can strip EXIF data easily. Yes, I have an app. Brax.me that strips the EXIF data. Do you really think Linux Canada Jeff, do you think anyone will actually strip EXIF? This guy says it's inconvenient. I'm not going to do that. It's inconvenient. Oh my gosh, people. Is it inconvenient, Zach? Gosh. Zach knows. I've been talking about Zuck for 4 zucking years. Agree to terms. Ben zucking over. Yes. So Ben zucking over. Yes. Ben over, because you're going to get zucked. And you're just like, oh, this is not a problem. You can zuck me. I always strip EXIF data. Yes, I always do browser isolation if I were on Facebook. But it's easier for me, Linux Canada Jeff. I don't go to zucking Facebook, so I don't have to strip zucking anything. I don't post pictures on social media. Great. I don't have to worry about zucking EXIF data. There's no one in the kitchen, D-Pace. It's completely quiet in the zucking house. Convenience, Braveheart vet. Convenience. This is zucked up. So, if you read that comment that was made to me on YouTube, I was like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to help you here, and his response is the same zucking response of 90% of the population, which is, I don't zucking care. You know, Zuckbook made it convenient. I can talk to people on Zuckbook. I can talk to all my friends on Zuckbook, and guess what? I don't have to find them. They're all on Zuckbook, so it's easy. I can talk to them and go to Facebook Messenger and pass, instead of email. Why use email? I can just use Facebook Messenger. I can talk to all the people on Facebook Messenger, and just like my brother talks to me, just like my brother was on Facebook and said to me, "Here's the bank account number. Can you deposit money into this bank account number?" That's my own brother. And I was like saying, you know, if my own brother is zucked, he still loves Facebook. I'm not going to go try to convince him. I'm not going to try to convince him. It's like, what's the point? Okay. So, yeah. So, yes. Some of you, like, what's the problem with that? Is there a problem with posting your bank account number on Facebook Messenger? Is there a problem talking about anything in Facebook Messenger? Is it a problem talking about your love life on Facebook Messenger, which I'm sure a lot of you do? Is it a problem talking about financial difficulties or problems with family or any such thing on Facebook Messenger? And then iSocialFit will come in here a moment from Facebook, where iSocialFit is going to show up and say, Facebook Messenger is safe. And then I'm going to tell you the fact, and people are going to tell me, people are getting DM your Facebook ID. I need some easy cash. Anyway, iSocialFit is going to come in here and the first, without me asking, he's going to say, Facebook Messenger is safe, because he knows the zucking issue. Okay, you stay zucking Facebook and you do zucking Facebook Messenger, and Zuck is watching what you zucking say. It's like, I've proven this so many times, that if you talk on on Facebook Messenger, they're extracting your contents and using that information and storing it in a database. And you're saying, well, that's okay. I mean, they're only using it for advertising. Oh, really? They're only using it for advertising. So Zuck, the news says recently, a week ago, that Facebook is now collecting your health data. What? He's collecting my health data? What? Yes, he's collecting health data, your heart rate, your blood pressure, and whatever information you can get from the internet, whatever he can derive from Facebook Messenger about what you're talking about with your health, what website you visit, what sites you visit on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and research a topic like, some sort of special kind of cancer, then that pops up. He's recording all that. Zuck is recording all that. And you're saying, we don't really care. We don't really care that a third party is tracking all this. This has no impact on my life. And so we're not going to care about what you're talking about, Rob Braxman. You're talking nonsense. This is not going to affect our life. So forget it. We don't want to live in a cave. This is awesome technology, and we're going to use this. And I'm just going to give up. I'm going to give up. Okay. What should I do with this? Maybe I should point this in my mouth, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. I should just give up and point this in my mouth or point it in my head and just say, it's over. Okay. But I'm not going to do that because I know about gun safety. And, but, it's just sucked up. It's sucked up. Because, it's sucked up because you don't realize the kind of risk that you're putting yourself into. When somebody tells me that they don't really want to fight for privacy, okay, it's over. What's the point? For that segment of the population, it's a toy. Fortunately, Jay Clifton, it's a zucking toy. So even if I shoot it, which I will shoot it now, just for you, okay, so you understand. Here, I will shoot it right now. Ready? Cover your ears. If you're PTSD, leave now, because I'm going to fire it. 1, 2, 3. Well, I should do it the proper way. 1, 2, 3. There. It's a hole in my wall now. Okay, so now YouTube has evidence that it's a toy. I just fired it. Because you're going to say, we're going to, restrict your account because you've been firing weapons. Yes, I'm firing toys. So anyway, this is so frustrating for me because it's like this individual who talked to me on YouTube just shows the kind of battle I'm dealing with people who just don't really want to listen to what I'm saying. And it's frustrating for me, and I want to make sure that we have a zucking army, because an army. I've been reluctant. Army was used Brax Army was used as a term, but I lost my sign-in info at Brax and was not able to post a pic on my profile, so it's all messed up. Why do you lose your sign-in info? I don't get that. You forgot your password? Put your email on there, Rob, so you don't have to keep making new accounts. Put your email on your account on Brax, and then you can restore it. The email doesn't have to have your name on it. Just whatever. Use some zucking email, and then you can restore your account anytime you want. Here's my problem, guys. The problem is that we think that privacy is something that is going to be given to us because something is protecting you. I'm telling you right now, nothing protects your privacy. Nothing. There's no law at the moment. There is no procedure. There is no process. There's nobody that cares about your privacy. No one cares about your privacy but you. No one will help you with your privacy. No one. If you don't pay attention to me, no one will help you. if you do not take the steps that I say to protect your privacy, then your whole life will be on the zucking internet, public for all to see, with all the warts and pimples and cancer and sunburns and whatever is on your skin. It will show up on the zucking internet. You are not going to be able to ever delete it again. I don't know why this is such a difficult concept. Privacy is not something that you can just come back and say, I will, okay, I believe in privacy now. I'm going to fight for it now. Too late, Mother Zucker. You didn't pay attention to me. Privacy cannot be recovered once it's lost. Zuck. I don't know what to tell you. Privacy cannot be taken back once you've lost it on the internet. It's not something you can say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. And yes, my life on the internet is now attached to my relatives, to my grandchildren. Whatever I've show on the internet is attached to everyone else, or vice versa. Your grandchildren are attached to you. And you have a relative who went to jail. That's now attached to you. You visited a porn site, because nobody goes to porn sites. So you visited a porn site, and now it's on the internet what porn site you visited, because nobody does that. So that's now attached to you to shame you. Somebody doxed you. You go on the internet and quietly go into YouTube, and somebody doxed you. Oh, how about this? You go on the internet and you say, well, I don't really have anything to hide, so I'll just use my real name everywhere. Well, that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't affect anything. I guess that person never heard of the side channel attack. So if you are one of those persons with nothing to hide, I'd love to know who you are so I can attack your family. Anyone who has nothing to hide we need to make a list of everyone who says, I have nothing to hide. We need to make a list of them, because they may know somebody important. Maybe they know a zucking senator or congressman or governor or a vice governor or something. Somebody knows somebody. Okay? So maybe a CEO of a company. So some of you have nothing to hide. I would like to know who you are. Maybe I get into your account. Maybe I dox you. Maybe I find something really bad about you. And maybe I can connect it to somebody you know. Like your relatives. Maybe your cousin. It's like, you don't understand. Again, I don't understand why you have to fight me on this issue. If I'm talking about privacy, I'm saying to you, you have to fight. Number one, you have to fight for it. If you don't want to fight for it, Zuck, I'm not going to be able to help you. Don't ask me for help later on. Okay, don't come to me and say, I did not follow your advice. What do I do now? I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the internet is unforgiving. So if you make a zucking mistake, so here's an example, just to show you just how zucked the people are. I'm going to go on Facebook with my real name on there. All my relatives are there. And then an ex goes on Facebook and starts hammering somebody there, their ex. So two exes talking to each other and saying negative things out in the open, and getting, really personal, and getting, exposing real private stuff. And you know what? How could they do that if you're not on Zucking Zuckbook? It's only possible because you're on Zuckbook. If you're not on Zuckbook, how is that even going to happen? How is somebody going to see these kind of details about your life? Oh, some of you are angels. Yeah, right. Okay, some of you are angels. I'm more of an angel than any of you. So if you're going to say, well, I've been an angel, Zuck you. Now, the reason I'm confident I can talk to you about privacy is because I haven't really done anything. So if somebody comes and doxes me, I say, well, Zuck you, motherfucker. Mother Zucker. Sorry. Mother Zucker. Sorry, I'm going to have to bleep that. Okay. What did you get from me? I mean, I don't do anything. Sorry, Great Gold. Zucked up. For a moment, I sounded like Ron Waxman. Okay, for a moment, Mother Zucker. It sounded like Ron Waxman for a moment. I'm sorry. I don't. No swearing in my scope. Now this video will now be demonetized by hello Retta. Retta actually followed me on Twitter. Can't believe it. Retta actually followed me on Twitter. I have earplugs. Family didn't hear you. Okay. Tourette's moment. So anyway, I'm like I know Angel. I'm like maybe when Ron Waxman is here, he always swears. So maybe it made it easy to do it. Hello, twin mom. Had to be a tad louder to sound like him. It says something is succulent. What would that mean? If something is succulent, I don't know. Is that like a Zuck lover? People. Zuck you people. People are gonna get zucked. So anyway, I'm telling you, I'm like, if you don't want to fight for it, then I'm sorry. We need to build an army of people that really want to fight for it. You understand the risks. I'm telling you that, unfortunately, internet privacy is a one direction thing. If you deviate in any kind of a way, whatever mistake you make on the internet is permanent and it can never be deleted. Again, do I need to repeat the story of my friend who came to me and said, well, my kid went on at 7th grade, went on the internet, made a website, and talked about my entire family, all our relatives, and their birth dates, their address. And so now there's enough information there for identity theft. And this little girl at 7th grade, well, not little, but, this young girl in 7th grade who's now finishing up high school, so this is 6 years later, saying, well, what do I do with this? I mean, it's out there on the internet, and she doesn't have a password, so she doesn't know how to delete the comments on that website. And even if she did, it doesn't make any difference because it's now stored on zucking, archive.org, or the Wayback Machine. So that website is now stored forever and ever, and you can be found, and you are zucked. There is no way to reverse it unless you blow up Google and say, I'm going to go blow up all the Google servers and maybe they'll lose my info. Okay, beyond that, then you're zucked. Okay, even if you deleted that, you can never take it out because it's on the Wayback Machine. So how can you be so cavalier about me talking about the dangers of what Zuckbook is doing, collecting your data in a permanent way, since I've already told you so many times, it's in their terms of service that whatever you put on Facebook never, ever gets deleted. And you're saying to me, well, it's convenience. I really need to do this, and I don't really need to come up with these procedures for Facebook to know what Zucking websites you're visiting that has nothing to do with Facebook. Great Gold, that would be quite an illegal act. I don't recommend that. I don't suggest to people. I do not say anything about blowing up any Facebook servers or anything like that. That is not a legal activity. I don't suggest anything illegal in my broadcasts. However, I'm thinking about this and I'm saying, why don't you think that why am I wasting my time doing this every night? People just don't realize that what I'm talking. Look at Periscope. I've been here for half an hour, and I got 287 people from Periscope. That's it. I used to get 14,000 people a night. 14,000 people a night. I'm looking at here, if I don't put any squash in here, this number will be 1,000. And it's like, okay, that shows you that people say, well, we don't really want to listen to you. You're just going to talk about Zuck, and we don't really care. And, we want to just continue our lives, and nothing really has to change. And we don't really care that you're telling us that whatever you put on the internet is going to be there permanently. It doesn't really matter. I mean, what's that, Claire Peters? Zuck. Hello, John Ritchie. You're new on YouTube. I just noticed this now as I'm late as well. John Ritchie? John Ritchie. There's so many Ritchies that I got confused. John Ritchie, how are you doing? John Ritchie is not on YouTube, on Periscope. He's only on YouTube. Yes, John Ritchie, I broadcast live on Friday. For those of you who are new to my broadcast, from Friday to Monday, I broadcast live. My live streams are from Friday to Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to watch me, I'm glad you wasted your time on me. Maui, I am glad that I did not waste my time on you, Maui. I am so glad I did not waste my time on you. Zuck, Claire Peters. So unknown person. Okay, we'll do what is it? Unknown person. I lost my sign. Okay, we need a few to protect privacy. Nobody cares about me. It's kind of funny. When I was kind of a, when I first started being famous on Periscope, which the fame didn't last very long. Thank you, Twin Mom. Thank you. Imagine, I was talking about this stuff, and I get 14,000 people watching me in Periscope, and now I was on the radio. I was on AM radio, and 2 million people get to listen to me. And thank you, Claire Peters. And then and here we are on Zucking Periscope, and I get 294 people in here. It's like, what's happened? It's either I'm zucked up, because maybe my message is so boring to people, or something happened to Periscope. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Thank you, Entire Meyer. But I'm telling you, that was AM radio hits the Eastern Seaboard. Chew Barker. I was on WBZ radio, which went all the way down the Eastern Seaboard and all the way west to Chicago. So you can hear me from as far west as Chicago all the way down probably to Florida. And that was Hello Sniper. Did you see how China has banned Google from buses, trains, and planes due to social score? By people from social score, yes. So at some point, whatever you put on the internet will be part of your social score, and you can't delete that. Can't delete it. And some of you are saying, "Well, that's okay. I'm old. I'm 70 now, so what does it matter?" It's a little bit of truth in that, because at 70 you're going to say, "Well, what can they do to me?" And my answer to you is, do you care about your family? Do you care about how it impacts them? I mean, your behavior, your beliefs, your politics, your choices, and your internet activity will pass through your family, to your kids, especially if they're on Facebook, because your accounts are going to be connected. And your response is, well, I don't really care. I mean, it's I don't really care. Claire Peters, you're using swear words, and that's going to be a problem for me here. I approved it, but you have to say ZHIT or they're going to demonetize me. I have no family, sadly. Well, the thing is, anyone you're connected to becomes part of your family in social media. So, if we don't have this idea that, social media is unforgiving, social media, the internet is very unforgiving. Unfortunately, social media, the internet is very unforgiving. It doesn't really, I feel like it when somebody makes a comment, somebody, go read the comment on the, I think it's which browser to use video. and you'll see a comment in there from someone, and the person said, this privacy stuff is too much work, so I don't think I'm going to do this. It's too much work. So let me just review again what the issue was. I made this video. It was called, and by the way, if you're not following me or subscribed to me on my YouTube account, please subscribe to my YouTube account, because that's where this information is that I'm talking about. It's on YouTube. So please, if any one of you, there's 34 of you here, if you're not on Periscope, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube account, there's 20 people or 19 people at YouTube right now watching me live. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube account, please consider subscribing to my YouTube account, where you can see the videos I'm talking about. Because I put a lot of content on YouTube now. So most of my content is on YouTube. So YouTube is a very, very important platform for me, because unfortunately Periscope is not YouTube. Periscope is Twitter. So the YouTube channel MacB is it's on my profile. All you do is click on my profile. There's a link there. It will take you directly to your channel. Please subscribe to me so then you understand what I'm talking about, because I'm going to reference a video that's on there. The name of the video is, hold on, let me check the name of the video. The name of the video is, what is the best browser to use for internet privacy? That's the name of the video. Okay, what is the best browser to use for internet privacy? That's the name of the video. Okay, and let me just explain the video to you, and then explain the response, and then so you understand how zucked up this is. Okay. Thank you, maybe. Please subscribe to my YouTube account. Yes, I really need subscribers. This is very important to us content creators, because YouTube looks at that as a sign that our content is important. Otherwise, they they don't give you as much importance as when you subscribe. So subscription is very important. You can watch my video without subscribing, but in order to help me, I need visibility with YouTube, and YouTube needs to see that people do subscribe to me. So it's very important to me that you subscribe. So if you're interested in helping me with my message and join the Brax Army, about one of the few people in the zucking world talking about defending your privacy, please subscribe to my account. I am one of the few. I don't know anyone on zucking YouTube that is trying to protect your privacy. Actually, I used this name on YouTube. I said, I am the internet privacy guy, and I came up on the first zucking page of the internet privacy guy, because it means there is no zucking internet privacy guy but me. Nobody cares about you. Everybody talks about cybersecurity and all this other stuff, but nobody cares about your zucking privacy, because these are different objectives. I don't need to make you a cybersecurity expert. I just want to protect your privacy. The fact that I'm a cybersecurity expert has nothing to do with this. I want to protect your privacy. That's what I do. I don't make any money doing this. I lose money doing this. I have a Patreon account now, Rob Braxman. It's on YouTube. If you want to support my cause here, if you want to support my cause, somebody just unsubscribed to me, because I guess they didn't like what I just said. Somebody just unsubscribed. If you I have a Patreon account, so if you want to support what I do, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a money-making thing. I'm fighting a billionaire, Zuck. Zuck is a billionaire. Zuck, Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson are protecting your privacy. Wow. Awesome. Not. Lavendi knows he's making a joke, of course. Some author wrote a book on your subject. Why don't they mention you? He didn't. He doesn't know what my subject is because he stole the subject Zucked. I need to write my own book, but did it years later and said, "Oh, I'm gonna abscond the name Zucked," even though he didn't come up with it. Okay, we are the people here. This group is where Zuck came from. What does Zuck? Zuck you, mother Zucker. Zucking, Zuck. All of those terms came from this broadcast with all of you in it. Okay, don't shoot me. I'm only the piano player, mother Zucker. Zuck. So if you support what I do, please subscribe to my YouTube account. I also have a Patreon account. And if you believe in what I say, then you may want to support the cause because like I said, I'm fighting a bigger enemy, and the bigger enemy is a billionaire. And trying to fight this, I feel like I'm alone doing this. Okay. I feel like I'm alone doing this. It's like, and then I get that comment. I get that comment from that guy on my video, and it's like, I felt like it was kind of a losing battle because he said, "Why do I need privacy?" He came to me because he searched for the word internet privacy. So obviously, yes, Ross, I had a lot of adult beverages. That's why I'm very animated. But he came to me and found my video on YouTube because of the word internet privacy. And then he says, well, this is too much work. Protecting my privacy is too much work. I don't want to have a VPN. Too much work to have a VPN. I don't want to have to do browser isolation. Too much work on browsers. So I'll just stay Zuck. It's fine. I don't think there's, quantified my losses. I don't want to use your suggested thing called Privacy Badger. I'm going to use Ghostery, and everything will be just fine. So I'm like, my response, no. He wasn't bugging me, Joseph. He's talking as an average person. He's actually a typical person. So this is not against the person talking about this. It's Zucking frustrating because he's very typical of everyone. I'm actually addressing, the general population that thinks this way. I'm going to tell you this. Maybe the gentleman who, the very nice gentleman who made the comment on YouTube, they said they're an older couple, and maybe they're, very kind of proper and, very traditional family unit, and there's been no problems with their lives, and maybe there's nothing complicated, and they've lived a very simple life. I'm gonna say that in general, I have not found people living simple lives. I mean, either you, your family. It doesn't have to be you directly. It could be your brother, your uncle, your nephew. There's always some complication with life. Life is not clean. Life is always complex. And we have problems. Sometimes we have money. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we fail. You could be rich now, but you had a bankruptcy before. These are all normal things in life. Life is ups and downs, and it's okay to me that life has its ups and downs. That's part of our struggle. If you want to know my own struggle, I've been up and down in my life. I've always started businesses, and a nice gentleman right there, Style 69 is a nice gentleman. Just so I've started businesses, and when you start a business, you're taking a risk, And sometimes you're taking a risk, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So when I started the business at the very beginning, things were rough, and then my business became very big, and and I should be retired now. There's no reason I have to work now, but life is tough. So from being successful and being able to retire, then life shifts around, and then suddenly it's all gone. Okay, so kind of nice. I can say to you that yes, I've been successful enough to be in the 1%. The IRS said I was in the 1%, so I know I was in the 1% because the IRS said so. So I was in the 1%, and then solidly in 1%. And the IRS agent who audited me say, "Wow, you are really doing well." Before, hello, cookie high 13, and now I'm not. I'm not doing well now. I'm just a normal guy like each and every one of you. And but I was successful. So life is not a an even thing. Life is uneven, and sometimes we experience negativities in life, and I don't necessarily want people looking at me to dox me and say, "Oh, you're the zucking guy who was a loser so many years ago. You're a loser back in the day. You're such a big loser back then because of whatever they find on the zucking internet." And they're going to ignore any successes you have because they're going to focus on the fact that you're a loser. Chorizo. So that's correct, Joseph. That is correct. It's more complicated than that. I can't really tell you anything, Joseph, because Joseph, I will summarize it in one word. Joseph, I will summarize it in one word for you. Gag order. Okay, I can't talk about it because there's a gag order. But yes, I could have been. Shows you what I'm trying to tell you. Even me, look at me. I mean, I'm here, and you look at this guy who's popular on social media, and I didn't. Life isn't perfect. As perfect as I wanted my life to be, and I tried to keep it on the straight and narrow, and it still didn't work out that way because I don't live in a world in isolation. There's people around me. I'm facing people on all sides, and sometimes things don't turn out the way you want because you encounter people who may twist your life. Because of this, I have to understand that the internet is the same thing because the internet is a reflection of your life, and just like I don't want my life to be advertised on social media to say, "Hey, you weren't perfect," and I certainly don't claim to be, but I certainly don't want that to be on the internet. I certainly don't want that to be on the internet. That's part of the, advantage of privacy is then that kind of stuff doesn't get on the internet. But you go into the internet and you say, "I'm going to use my real name in everything I do, and I don't really care. So I'm going to use my real name in everything I do." And that alone is a decision. That alone is a decision that you made. If you said you're going to go on the internet and you're going to use your real name, you just made a decision that you said privacy is not important because you're going to use your real name. You're going to go to Google and use your real name on there. You're going to say you're from Maryland. So now we can go, "Oh, this guy, John Smith from Maryland," and we can go check that out. And then you're more specific. "I live in this town called Pleasantville, Maryland." I don't know if there's such a place, probably not. But I live in this little town. It's called Pleasantville, Maryland, and my name is John Smith, and and you're cavalier about that, and somebody finds out things about you, because the fact of the matter is, the internet does not forgive. The internet does not forget, and they are legion. Basically, the internet is worse than anonymous. Okay? The internet is worse than anonymous. No, John Ritchie, I cannot disclose the company name. No. No, John Ritchie. Well, I suppose I could disclose the company name, but I'd rather not, because then, I don't want to get into to any discussions about gag orders. Okay? I have a gag order, so, I have a gag order. Okay? That's all I need to say. So I don't go back and talk about that factor, but it just goes to say we in this case, I don't have anything to hide. Wasn't my fault. There's I don't have anything. I'm not the one that needs the gag order, to be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, I can go without the gag order, but there's the gag order. Gag order, Rob. Okay? So, I'm not the one that needs it. FYI. Okay? FYI. Corey was doxxed, and he was swatted 4 times now. He has been on YouTube for many years. And he owns his own PC business and teaches folks on here how to build systems and troubleshoot concerns. And it's okay with him to somebody who's into computers doesn't realize the internet is unforgiving. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, shouldn't be obvious. I teach you, and I wish my message would reach the younger generation. I'm talking about the millennial age group, 20s to 30s, because my advice is going to hit them the best. If they follow my advice, it would be much benefit to them versus somebody who's already in their 70s. Because really, it's a younger generation that's going to be impacted on this, because your internet record, as a friend of mine already experienced, affected employment. So my friend came to me and was applying apparently for an executive job, and I'm going to say vice president level, and was confronted with her internet history. And her internet history is okay. I mean, there was nothing. She didn't do anything wrong or bad, but she comes from a poor background, and her relatives are poor. She's very successful. She, has a master's degree, and husband's a doctor, and very, very, very successful person. But the family is, not necessarily. Okay? And she felt like shocked that going to an employment interview and then somebody plastering her internet history in front of her face and saying, "This is your history. This is what we know about you." And then I would, since the job was in a different state, I presume she didn't get it because she's still here. But I don't know. I got to ask her. I didn't really want to pry. But the point is that it tells me that in her mind, the internet data shown from the employers digging the internet and showing it to her had a negative impact. She herself has no negative data, so I'm going to guess that it has to do with her relations. So you see, it's not that simple. If you're applying for somebody, let's say you're applying for, let's say you want to, just to keep this simple so it's something you can easily understand. Let's say the job has to do with politics. Let's say somebody wants to put you in politics somewhere. Maybe you're going to be hired to be a judge. I mean, you're going to be voted. They're going to push you to be a judge or a council member or something in politics. And when you get to that point, then they're going to look not just at you, but even your relatives, people you know, and see what kind of connections and who do you hang out with, and do you maybe have criminal relatives, and so on and so forth. You can see how tough this becomes, because you're saying, well, I live a very clean life and everything is perfect because I follow the rules. It doesn't apply to everyone around you. Well, unfortunately, Joseph, that's what happens. The higher you go, then the more these questions become part of it. Because just to give you an example here, the question is, since you know this information and the internet is really this bad, and you feel this and have this information, why do you use what? The internet? Would you like to stop using the internet now? Just answer that. Yeah, are you willing to? Don't ask me. I'm asking you. Why don't you stop using the internet? Can you? My daughter-in-law is a partner in a law firm and aspiring to be a judge by 2020. I've told her about. See, McFanny. That's a good example. Do companies have access to private labeled info statuses posted on Zuck or just public posts? John Ritchie, companies have access to whatever you do inside their office. So if you access Facebook from your office, they can see all of the things you post. FYI. Again, nobody cares about this. I tell you all these details, and your answer is, we don't really care. We don't really care. What about the social media bias? Are you talking politics here, Booty? Yes, there is a social media bias. Censorship. Yes, there is. And that's a different issue. But that's part of what I fear, is because once you are all individually profiled, then you can be manipulated. I told you this story, and again, my sayings here are minimized, and it's like not that important. But somebody actually did a war games thing, not the war games in the movie War Games, because that was in the 80s, right? But war games in 2019, 2020, this kind of era. How would war games be conducted now? And the simulation that was done in this war games was they attacked all of the important people that handle the military in social media first. They attacked them by hacking them, by going to social media, and they did it all simultaneously. So people were confronted with doxing and hacking, and bank accounts being drained of funds, all false. Fake news of any sort, family members being arrested, family members getting killed, all these all fake news, all because it was manipulated, and that was the start of the war games. And then right after they gave all this information, when everyone was distracted, pow! Attack militarily. Okay, so you can understand now what I'm saying, that you can be manipulated on the internet. You can all be, because this was an example of how somebody manipulated for war games. And people say, well, we don't really care about this. This is not that important. It's like, Zuck. Your minds are so narrow, people. You only look at the narrow things you understand. You don't know what I understand. I understand how this can be used in such a bad way. Weaponized data. How you can weaponize data. How few of you understand that data can be weaponized. If you actually think about data and not think about yourself alone, and think about it from a nation point of view, you will see that Zuck, this can influence elections, can affect wars, affect a lot of stuff, life and death, just from influence on your zucking data. And people say, well, we don't care because it's only about zucking advertising. Sorry, I'm too loud. This is about advertising. I don't really care if I get advertised. I get ads on the best PC to use, or the new car that I want because I'm looking at cars, and the new recording device or whatever. That's I'm okay with seeing all that in ads, so I'm gonna let Zuck and do all this tracking. It's like you guys are like, think. You see, you're all such a narrowly focused. You don't understand what I know about. You don't understand there's companies out there like Palantir Technologies, Jigsaw, owned by Google. These companies are not talking about using your data for mild things like zucking advertising. They're using it for weaponized data manipulation. They're using it. They're saying, how can we use the data we know about our population to manipulate people? How do we test messages out there so we can control them? Remember back in the day, this was a big thing, in the old days when they said, do people do subliminal messages? Do they put subliminal messages in between like a movie, and then you get this, psychological thing with seeing a subliminal message on a movie and then it impacts your behavior in real life? Okay? Well, forget about zucking subliminal messages. This is outright blatant manipulation based on what you see in your zucking timeline on Facebook, what you see on your feed on Twitter, what you see on the zucking internet can be manipulated by people, and you're like saying, well, I can't be manipulated. Wow, you're a zucking genius. If I isolate you, see, you've never experienced that. I have, okay? If I isolate you and tell you only one set of news, you're going to zucking believe it. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is from life experience. Okay? I'm going to tell you from life experience. When I was young, I lived in a country with a dictator. Okay? I lived in a country with a dictator. And when I was young, the dictator had one message. He's number one. He's the best. You go to the election, everybody wants him to be the leader. There is no dissension. No one is going to. No one wants him out. He's the most popular person there. This is basically the message in media. So there is no opposition. If you're in opposition, you go to jail. So nobody hears the opposition. You only hear one side. You go to the elections, and the vote is always 99%. It's really shocking that the vote was always 99% for the dictator. There was only always one candidate. The vote was always, do you vote for the candidate, the dictator, or not? And 99% always voted for him. Nobody questioned this. Nobody questioned this. So they said, okay, then we can't be manipulated because that's true. He is very popular and all that. And then I was in the United States. I was living here, and then there was a revolution. There was a revolution. It was a peaceful revolution because, there wasn't any fighting in the streets, but there was a silent revolution, and people went on the streets, and the army basically gave up. And this dictator then, was taken by U.S. plane to Hawaii. Okay? So obviously there was, in fact, a lot of opposition, and everybody was just quiet about it because they could not speak. They could not talk about it. They could not, because they would go to jail or get killed or whatever. Okay? So people say, well, whatever you hear on Zucking Twitter, on Facebook, that's got to be reality, right? Because you see it on Twitter and Facebook. And you don't understand that people can do things like amplify messages on Facebook and Twitter using fake bots and whatever. They can amplify a message. If they want you to hit you in a specific way, they can do it using the kind of trick that Cambridge Analytica use, which is to profile each person, come up with their personality profile, and then basically identify how to convince your type of personality about what's true and what's not. And your response is, oh, I can't be tricked by that. I'm going to tell you, if you have never lived in a country where all the news is suppressed and you only hear one side, you don't know what the zuck you're talking about. No, I do not know anything. Don't talk to me about politics, booty. I don't know if any specifics in politics. I've seen the name, but I don't really follow anything political. Okay? I am Snowden. I have to talk about Snowden. Come on. The more data you leak, the more ammo they have against you. John Ritchie, why don't they get this? So I'm telling you, real life, this was before the internet. When a leader says, I'm going to control the media, and there's going to only be one TV station, and that TV station is going to have only news sent by the government. All the news comes from the government. No free press. Once you've actually understood that data can be manipulated in that sense, and you're going to say, well, you can't do that in the U.S. Suck you. Of course it can be done here. It's already being done. And what do you think fake news is? Okay, you don't have to influence everyone. You just have to influence enough to switch the vote. Target everyone in the middle. What do you think the target is? It's not the target isn't going to hit the people who are, extreme MAGA on the right, or the Antifa on the left, or resist on the left. No, the target is the zucking middle. So if you know by manipulation how to target the zucking middle, then you can zuck them. You can zuck this nation. And that's just one example. One example. Okay? So in LA, they're doing pre-crime. This is the other thing that I talk about, pre-crime. So in LA, they've decided that they want to identify who the gang members are. So now they use Palantir, the same data mining weaponized company I'm talking about. And they said, we're going to identify pre-crime. So we're going to classify people based on relationship maps and tracking your movements around the city to see if you're a gang member. So basically, if you have a relationship with somebody in a gang, then you must be in the gang. Therefore, you ought to go to jail too. And you want to say, who cares? They should all go to jail because they're all black. They're all black anyway, so they just put them all in jail. Who cares? Okay, I mean, you really think that, and now I'm going to extend that. I'm going to extend that to any kind of logic and extend it to any kind of belief, and say if you think differently, if you're not in the mainstream, then you should be manipulated in some way, and you think that is healthy for this nation. Hawaii dealer. The thing about pre-crime is connected to something called the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment. Okay, what is the Fourth Amendment, guys? The Fourth Amendment is unreasonable search and seizure. I don't know about you, but if you look back and see how the Constitution was written, you start to say, wow, that's pretty sensible stuff. The Fifth Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of, against self-incrimination, and then Fourth Amendment so First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fourth Amendment. These are all very, very important. And some of you, of course, are thinking about the Second Amendment. Second Amendment. Okay, so we got all these amendments. Okay, so these are, you say those are important amendments. They're important part of our Constitution, but yet when you give up your privacy, you're giving up the Fourth Amendment. You give the internet privacy is about the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. If you believe in the Fourth Amendment, you have a right to protect yourself against unreasonable search and seizure. Unreasonable search and seizure is done by people in power, governments typically, dictatorships. Unreasonable search and seizure allows them to go just go into your home and then so they can find something about you so they can put you in zucking jail. Where's the expectation from the Constitution? It's called get a warrant. That's what the Fourth Amendment's about. You can't go search my internet activity. Go get a warrant first. So now the Fourth Amendment is being taken down because of the privacy invasion that's happening. They can actually see your internet activity in advance and then maybe find pre-crime in there, even though you haven't committed any crime. And our reaction to this is, who cares? We're slowly changing society. As Kelp said, we need to change with the times. And the Fourth Amendment, is a passé concept. We need to change with the times because we're looking for terrorists now. So we need to investigate. We need to put, as Kelp says, it's okay for him to put a roadblock, a police roadblock in every block, check out people and to make sure that they're not carrying weapons and everything, and that's okay with him because it will catch a terrorist. Giving up on the Fourth Amendment is an example of when you say you're going to allow a roadblock so somebody can pat you down at every corner. Military people can pat you down at every corner to see if you're a terrorist. The terrorists have won if that actually happened, because that's what they want. They want you to have fear. And so that's fantastic to them. Fantastic. If you can do that, then we won't have any terrorists. And it's like, Zuck, you've just lived a life that's in the book 1984, and you're saying this is the way you want it. Well, you know what, guys? That's called communism. Wow. Is that true, Cookie? That's called communism. The state is supreme. We don't have any individual choices. So when you give up your privacy, you're saying, I give up my individual choice. I'm going to let some third party decide all that and decide for me and tell me what to zucking do. And that's okay with me. And I'm trying to be the only one defending this. I mean, this is a very, very difficult thing because I am zucking alone doing this. Okay, I don't make money doing this. I've been doing this for 4 years. Zuck is making billions. The stock went up again, went down, but went back up. Zuck is making billions, and I'm here he's laughing at me and saying, look at this loser trying to take me down, and I can't even get zucking subscribers on my YouTube account. I can't even get you to subscribe to my YouTube account. I mean, my message must be so zucked up. I must be such a unusual message. My message must be so unusual and so extreme that you actually think that no one should actually listen to me, because no one even subscribes to my YouTube account. And somebody just unsubscribed in the last few minutes. That's the kind of world I'm in. Okay? I mean, I'm doing this trying to teach you about something that's so deadly because I personally experienced a dictatorship, and I don't want to ever live in that environment ever again. And it's happening subtly, in a subtle way. It's happening. Somebody's beginning to manipulate us. And back then there was no internet. Okay, I was young. There was no internet, and now there is. And now here we are, and we're faced with this. And some of you grew up and only know of the internet. You've never, the millennials have grown up never knowing a world without the internet. And when you actually know about life as I experienced it, and you say, how could my life have been different? How could my life have been different if they had an internet back in the day? Oh my gosh, it would have been terrible. So basically what I'm telling you right now would be amplified to the nth degree. The manipulation will be amplified to the nth degree just because of the lack of privacy. The more they know about each and every one of you, the more each and every one of you can be manipulated. And manipulation comes in many forms. Sometimes it's blackmail. Sometimes it's affecting jobs. Sometimes it's affecting your insurance. Sometimes it's affecting your relatives. Sometimes it's indirect. Okay? And it's disgusting, when you actually understand how much information is known about you and what I can do with that. That's what doxing is all about. I have a video about doxing. And the video said how to dox. And the video is not really how to teach you how to dox, because I don't really tell you the mechanics of it. I teach you how to dox so you understand what a doxer is looking for. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow heavily in my broadcast tomorrow. But I want you to understand that doxing is one of the ways they get the information about you on the internet and plaster it over in public. And many people here on Periscope have been hit by that. It took years to get your Periscope audience. It's like starting over here. Yes, it is. It is starting over, Russ. And there are doxing services you can purchase. I can dox for you. You can pay me. I can dox for you. Pay me per hour. I'll dox for you. I'm pretty good. So I'm probably one of the best doxers out there, and I feel bad for the victims of doxing, and that's why I come up with these privacy things to actually stop people from doxing you. If you follow my advice, the doxing results will fail. If you follow my advice, it will be pretty hard to dox you with something critical. I know people, some have doxed me. Some of you have doxed me, and you give me little hints, you drop little comments on the comments to make sure you're saying you doxed me. You better be careful about that, guys. I don't really have much to hide. But if you're going to dox me, do you really want to risk me doxing you? Are you really... Okay, nice thing about doing this is easy recovery. I can recover. I figured out how to recover very quickly here. Okay, so YouTube. Okay, let me... Okay, I want to check to make sure it's steady first. YouTube. Is YouTube steady? Is YouTube steady? Can somebody comment on YouTube? Okay, hold on. I gotta go do Periscope. YouTube is always up first. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me go. Okay, hold on. Let's see. if Periscope recovered here. Okay, did YouTube just continue the same one, or did it create a new broadcast? Can someone tell me? Did YouTube like make a new broadcast, or you just continued the same one? Did it make a new broadcast or new video? I wonder what it does. New video. Okay, so I have a new video on Periscope, new video on appears to be the same one. Okay, I gotta check here. Yeah, on YouTube I only see one. I don't see multiple ones with the same name. Okay, so maybe because I prefer if YouTube does not. No, the comments are not connected, but I would prefer if YouTube didn't restart. YouTube has to render the video first before a new one can be created. Okay, so I would prefer if YouTube kept the same video. The chat is always continuing. Yes, it's always the same chat. The chat is actually continuing forever. It actually doesn't connect to the whatever broadcast I'm talking about. So sorry about that. For those of you who are watching on replay, then the signal got dropped, and the signal dropped to 0, and I could see it. It turned red. I was talking and then turned red on me, and so then I know the internet connection was lost. And then it would kept going on like that. Maybe the entire neighborhood is watching Netflix, and maybe that's what it is. Okay, so anyway, so like back to the beginning here. So hopefully you're all connected again on both. Yes. Okay. So yes, and I was like so deep into the topic, and then it's frustrating to get interrupted. Very frustrating. So anyway, John, I think the Braxme site is a nice start to get more organized about these privacy issues. No, McFanny, it was my side here. I lost the connection here. No, nothing. It's not Periscope. It's actually on my end here. The signal dropped. The feed dropped from my device to my server, and that interrupted the whole broadcast, and that's gonna make the replay bad. But at least we got quite a bit of it in here. We've already been at this for an hour and a half. Okay, so I don't know where I ended now. So the thing is that I don't know where I ended, but the thing is that people in general, and I'm going to say the average person, doesn't really know that data can be weaponized. That's probably a new concept to most people. You actually don't know that you can manipulate people using the data. Well, the Snowden. Anybody heard of this guy called Snowden? Anybody heard of this guy named Snowden? So if I guess most of you probably there's not any newbies in here, but for those of you who know Snowden, one of the things that he revealed was that the National Zucking Agency actually it was not the National Zucking Agency. It was GCHQ. GCHQ, which is kind of a GCHQ is obviously in bed with the National Zucking Agency. They're sharing data. GCHQ can be considered, to be honest with you, as a branch of the National Zucking Agency. If you don't know what GCHQ is, it's the NSA of Britain. So the UK has something called GCHQ. Here in America, we call it the National Zucking Agency. Okay? So the National Zucking Agency a lot of times will subcontract an idea to GCHQ, and the GCHQ can get on with it and try it out. So one of the things that the GCHQ did, which was obviously in concert with the National Zucking Agency, is to try out saying, can we alter the internet for a certain group of people? Can we alter the internet? And there's some techniques of doing this, from packet injection to directly changing Google to doing Stingray and any number of things. That there's a lot of techniques they can do to do kind of a Mission Impossible kind of thing, where a group of people think the internet is what it is, but it's not the same internet that they're looking at. And they were targeting, in this case, Muslim extremists. So they basically said, let's target Muslim extremists in the UK and change their internet. Now, of course, every red-blooded American is going to say, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. If we're trying to beat Muslim extremists, then it's a wonderful thing. So I'm okay with using techniques to manipulate the internet of a group of people, so we can change their perception of what it is they see on the internet, and somehow that can manipulate them. I'm okay with that, says many people. Okay, the problem with this, folks, is the technology is not specific to Muslim extremists. Once you develop the technology, which they did, it's in a program called Jigsaw. Once you develop this Jigsaw capability to manipulate the internet based on some subgroup that they have identified, what is to stop them from using it against anyone and everyone they feel like to push an agenda? So is this an issue? And some of you say, oh, again, we don't really care. All this information that they keep on the social media and the internet, it's really just to influence the ad so that I can buy the right camera, I can buy the right car, I can buy the right clothes, and promotes my favorite companies in clothing, and I can buy the right TV and the right phone. That's all you're thinking about. And you never think about the fact that because you're all such innocent Zucks, you actually think that big money is being spent for no reason in this. They've spent billions, weaponizing the data in a way that I'm talking about. They're spending billions on this. Why would anyone want to spend billions on data? It's because they realize they can manipulate elections, create extremist groups that did not exist before. They can make it exist. Okay? Like Antifa didn't exist, they made that exist. Okay? And then what was the name of that right-wing group that, kind of promoted violence as well? Something boys. Or they claim they promoted violence. They say they don't promote that, but I don't know what the fake news is. But something boys. Okay, the whatever boys, okay? And I know Ali Alexander was, filed a lawsuit against, it was in his broadcast to file a lawsuit against the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, because they were trying to hit this guy who supposedly is right-wing and kind of the right-wing equivalent of Antifa. At least that's what the press trying to make them out to be. Okay, so the point is that if I want to discredit that group or Antifa or whoever I want to discredit, then I can put out videos, real or fake, doesn't matter because you'll never know. Put a lot of important people's words, sometimes fake, sometimes real. Maybe manipulate the words in people see. Maybe have you download this app called NewsGuard, which dictates what fake news is and what real news is based on what MSM thinks. Maybe I'd have you download that because I'm going to promote that as a way to manipulate. And then I'm going to say, okay, all I have to do now is get NewsGuard to flag certain comments to be fake news and real, and I can influence people. And you're saying, well, I cannot be influenced. Zuck you. You are so arrogant to think you cannot be influenced, and because you've never lived in a dictatorship. I'm going to tell you, as a kid, I've always wondered, is it true that this dictator is so popular because he gets 99% of the vote? Well, you have to think, if he gets 99% of the vote, he probably is the supreme leader that we ought to have, because he gets 99% of the vote. Never heard of any candidate getting 99. By the way, there's no candidates. It's him or nobody else. Him or no one. So the only vote is the dictator. So, democracy. So if you start to understand this kind of reality that I've experienced, then you ought to see that people can be manipulated. It's very easy. And for some of you to think, I'm so smart, I'm 70 years old, I've lived my life, and you cannot deceive me and give me fake news. And I'm going to say, Zuck you, mother Zucker. If I give you enough of the same information over and over, if I give you the same information without a opposite side, unbalanced, if I give you unbalanced news, I will eventually move you over. All I have to do is give you unbalanced news constantly, and you will shift. This is part of the problem when you censor. When you censor, you change the balance of news. When you uncensor, you get all extremes, and it balances out in the correct center, and so on. If you censor everything, starting to get into like right of center and left of center, and you start to censor that, you start getting into a problem of manipulating the vote. And people say, well, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be tricked by that because I know the facts. What facts? What do we see on the internet that's really made by facts? If somebody doesn't want to do an investigation because it could hurt their party, and an investigation is not started, and somebody does the opposite, which is let's start an investigation so it helps our party, you're basically, being manipulated by the people who control that because they make the decisions and you don't. You are just watching it, and you look at that and you say, okay, well, I trust those guys and they did this, and, so it must be true. See, I don't think like that. I'm kind of a nonconformist in that way, because I don't think like that. I look at that and I say, I don't trust you establishment mother zuckers. I really don't. I don't trust either of you. I don't trust you on the left. I don't trust you on the right. I don't trust anybody in Congress. I don't trust anybody in the Senate. I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone. Okay, so I don't like to have people, dump their ideas on me. Why don't you just give me the zucking news the way it is? Let me judge for myself. They don't do that anymore, as you know. There's got to be always an opinion. It's got to be a side. Okay, why don't you just tell me the news? Trump said X. Kim Jong-un said Y. Stop. Let me judge that. Oh, they don't do that anymore. It's got to be always with, manipulation. There's always some agenda, something always twisted, so there's always an opinion with it. So everything we see is tainted. And then you start cutting out extremist views in the opinion of whoever judges that. And then what happens now is we don't see the whole picture anymore. Back if you there was no censorship, you can see the whole picture and you can judge for yourself because you've heard all sides and you say, oh, if this is left and right, I'm a little bit more an inch this way. See, you can't do that anymore. Well, an inch this way or that way can affect the election. Just moving a little bit, an inch here, an inch there, affects the election. Our reaction? We don't care. We don't care. Well, if you understand how data works, if I can use data as they did with Cambridge Analytica, and I can use that to move some people, targeted people in the middle, because that's the target, really, the middle. It's pointless trying to target the left and the right. They're not the target. The left and the right is not the target. The target is the middle. If I can manipulate what the middle sees, oh my gosh, I can change the election. If I have the data to isolate who the middle is, so some of you are saying, well, I'm not going to be influenced. I'm on the extreme right. Yeah, probably. I'm on the extreme left. The people on the extremes aren't going to be manipulated to change their vote. They're going to be manipulated to cause problems. Okay? They're going to agitate you. Okay? That's how you're going to be targeted. Agitation. The vote we're concerned about is the middle. So if I agitate the left and the right, maybe the agitation will cause them to lose respect for the extreme on the left and the right and affect the middle. So I'm not a politics guy. I don't talk about politics, but I understand data, and they understand what this data is for and how why are these companies spending billions? Palantir Technologies, which is the mercenary arm for much of this data stuff, manipulation. That's Palantir. A Palantir engineer actually helped, or scientist, a Palantir scientist actually helped construct the logic for Cambridge Analytica, which was used was used in the election, starting with Ted Cruz, and then was used after that by in the latter part. I don't know how much he got to use it because it was at the tail end, that Trump. But Ted Cruz was the first one to use it. That company, think Cambridge Analytica. So now, and that company had a personal profile on 300 million Americans, so they can actually test a message in a model and say, if we say this, how would the people react? So they can actually fake and see what fake zucking news can we pass to the people so we can see how they react. How do we manipulate? It's like in Google SEO. You say, find a cool word and you pop up on the top of the search list. Okay? Oh, so if we find a combination of words that seem to hit this population, which we can use testing against this model, we can test and see how they'll react to it, and then that way we can use a manipulation of the election. It's like you don't understand the kind of modeling that they're doing this. If you don't understand this, in the government, the NSA, the Defense Department, they have simulation models. They have war simulation. They will say, well, what happens if China invaded Taiwan? What happened when Pakistan fires a nuclear weapon at India? What are all the effects of that? And they have all these scenarios, and they all have this war games planned out to do that. Well, they're doing that against individual people now with scenarios of what would happen if you do this. Would there be an effect on the election? And I don't like to be the subject of such manipulation. I like everything to be straight and fair. And it's starting to lose that because we're trying to get into a 1984 kind of level, and people don't realize that's what happens when somebody has your zucking data. If nobody knew anything about your data, they have no ability to do this kind of thing. That actually wouldn't even been a question. If they didn't know anything about you because you have there's nothing, no privacy record of you, it wouldn't be a question. So it's disgusting to me that we just take this and we say, yeah, slap me up. It's okay. And then when I talk about the fact that I am teaching you privacy, then people come to me and say, well, what you say is interesting, but I'm not going to go change my life. Okay, I'm Zuck. Zuck wins. I lose. Like I said, I can't even get you to follow me on John Ritchie. No two-way PGP encryption on email. That's a waste of time. You think the reason I don't do encryption on email, John Ritchie, is because you're wasting your effort. You do PGP on email and your entire metadata is still exposed. So what the Zuck are you hiding? Your IP address, everything is on there. So not using the email's built-in encryption. No, you can't. If you're going to use PGP, how are you going to send the data? You're going to email it? No, that's what PGP is kind of it's... How do you, if you use PGP inside some other platform like BraxMe or something, okay, I get that. But if you're going to use email, then no, because, again, privacy, nobody cares about that. You send out an email, somebody knows where you live just from your email. And I'm looking at your email and looking at watch my hackathon video. I think you did. Watch the full hackathon video, John Ritchie, because you're going to encrypt the body and you can't encrypt the header and you can't encrypt the metadata, so you're still zucked. You're still zucked. No, PGP will zuck you because it is tied to email. PGP is often used with email. Now you can use PGP for other things, but you have to have an infrastructure for that. So anyway, maybe I'm making sense to some of you. Maybe I'm not. Obviously, I'm not, because otherwise I would get followers on YouTube. And apparently, I'm not making progress here because one person actually unsubscribed tonight. So instead of increasing my subscription, it actually one person unsubscribed, and it's thank you, Deanna. Thank you so much. So if you are interested in what I'm talking about, which is my lone fight in privacy, my lone fight against the evil of people who want to control us, especially Zuckerberg, please consider subscribing to my YouTube account where I'm making all these videos to support you and to protect you. And I feel like I'm trying to make an army of people who believe in what I talk about, understands it, and will implement the procedures that will make you safe, and have those people be the spokesperson for the idea of privacy. And if you believe that that's the case, please subscribe to my YouTube account, which is Rob Braxman Tech. Just type Rob Braxman Tech. I come up on YouTube. Hit subscribe. I'm going to try to make time to binge watch. You're going to have to, Deanna, all of you should binge watch my videos, the short ones, which kind of summarizes everything. I made a video yesterday and I rejected it. It was the first time. It was actually a good topic, and I recorded it, and I just felt like I wasn't giving you the quality that I wanted. So it was too much like the last video. So I said, I got to do something else, and I got to rethink it. So I'm going to take a pause. I did not release that video. I'm gonna redo it and come up with a different concept because I'm thinking about always how to improve the message for each and every one of you to make sure that I can explain it better and so I can counter the commentary that I get from YouTube about there's too much work to some of the stuff I suggest. Actually, it's not that much work, guys. It's not. Okay, I'm gonna summarize it for you to see, so you see it's actually simpler than it looks. Okay, if you persist, can you describe how to get your info from metadata if you spoof your IP with VPN or Tor and PGP encrypt the message locally before you send the message? If I know your email, John Ritchie, and you're not always on the VPN, see that message. Yeah, you're right. If you do that message in itself, if you're that advanced and you do all those things you just talked about, John, that message itself may be okay at that moment, John Ritchie. But now I know your email address, and I know you're inconsistent because you're like most people. You don't like extra work, and so you're not always going to turn on your VPN. You're not always going to use Tor. You're going to leave your email running all day, and you're going to not care, like most people. Okay, and so what do I do with that? Simple, John Ritchie. I do a beacon attack on you. And it will eventually kick back your zucking IP address, and then I got you zucked. Then I say, oh, John Ritchie is actually over here. He lives. His actual name is John Smith and lives in 123 Main Street, and it's just screwing around with his PGP stuff. Now I know that John Smith is using all this PGP stuff, so I'm gonna say, oh, he has. I'm gonna dox him now. So, yeah, I mean it's a lot of discipline involved. So my solution, John Ritchie, is avoid email and use Thunderbird for your email. Use Thunderbird. Don't put email on your phone. If you're gonna do email on your phone, do webmail. Okay, that was on my video on email. I don't think it had, I think, 7 tips on how to protect your email. I don't think anybody watched it. No, Deanna, you cannot see who the BCC is because BCC is handled at the server side. It's not visible on the client side. It's a server side process. BCC is handled by the sending server. So you're not going to see that. Okay. So I back to what I'm talking about. You can see the difficulty what I have here, in people who think they understand privacy, and they really don't. They have a very, very narrow understanding of the issue, and they come to me and say, well, I don't really want to do what you're saying because it's so much work. So let me just make sure before I end my broadcast tonight, I want to make sure this is very clear. I have a video out there on YouTube, and please subscribe to my YouTube account, Rob Braxman Tech. Please subscribe to my YouTube account. Okay, thank you, Braveheart Vet. So one of the videos I have is using browser isolation to prevent Facebook from taking your data. I told you how invasive Facebook is. Facebook is the biggest spy on the internet. If you let Facebook get your data, then you're going to be zucked because it's almost impossible to stop Facebook. They're tracking you when you're visiting your porn site. They're tracking you when you're buying from myguns.com. They're tracking you when going to pantiesrus.com. It's like, what the zuck are you doing, Facebook? I mean, this has nothing to do with you. They're tracking you when you go to a medical site. What the zuck does that have to do with Facebook? And you're letting it do it, and you're saying, well, I don't really care about that, or I don't want to do the procedures you want to do to stop Facebook from doing it. So I gave you a procedure. It's called browser isolation to isolate Facebook, so Facebook doesn't have access to your activities. And one of you said to me, "Well, that's too many steps. I don't think I want to do that. It's too inconvenient for me." Like I said, most people don't want to fight for privacy. Privacy is, you think, it's given to you, so you take the risk and say, "Well, it's not important. I'm not going to go worry about it." Okay. And end of that side. Okay, got that argument. But if you're going to come to me and say this, doing this browser isolation, all this is that's nonsense, John Ritchie. This thing about browser isolation, so many steps. Think, people, what I'm trying to tell you. Read between the zucking lines. If you're not using Facebook, you do not have to do zucking browser isolation. Why is my life not that complicated? Do you think I have to do so much browser isolation? Yes, but not as complex as I would have to do if I had zucking Facebook. I mean, you're opening up a tab. What's the difference between opening a tab and opening up Firefox and Chrome? Not a big deal. Protects my privacy. I love it. It's fun. I know I'm keeping, a foreign website from attacking me. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about a third browser. I only need two because I'm not running Facebook. Not that hard. This habit. I said, okay, I do Chrome here. I have Firefox and Chrome. That's, 90% of what I have to worry about right there. It's not that hard. So, well, that's so inconvenient. I'm not going to go do it. Well, if you want to suck yourself, it's your business. I don't really care. Galmez, how are you doing, my friend? Galen. If you don't, I teach you. You can take what I teach and say, Zuck you, Rob Braxton, we don't... how are you doing, Galmez? Zuck you, Rob Braxton. If you don't want to, I don't want to listen to your stuff. Okay, fine. I'm just telling you stuff. I'm telling you. How, my good friend, how are you doing? Another millennial. This is a good millennial. When millennials come to my, no, you cannot be incognito is useless. Don't use incognito mode. Use browser isolation. Incognito mode is useless. What do you think incognito mode is? Do you think you are incognito? Is that what you think incognito mode is? It makes you incognito? Who the hell told you that? Incognito mode says when you exit the browser, it deletes the cookies. That is all it is. Incognito mode means delete the browser, delete the cookies, which has no effect on browser zucking fingerprinting. Let me repeat this for you. Incognito mode has no effect on browser fingerprinting. The browser fingerprint result in incognito mode and non-incognito mode is zucking the same. So what are you doing incognito mode for? Make you feel good. This is one of these that just make you. How do you prevent tempest-based attacks? It seems to make using encryption less trustworthy. I don't know what a tempest-based attack is. I'm going to have to research that. I am not being attacked by anything Tempest on my VPN, so I don't know what a tempest-based attack is. Is that something new? I'm not familiar with that. Okay, I'll find out. Sometimes people, will spot a word out there and then it sounds like something different, but it's actually something that's, it's hide from spouse mode. Incognito mode is pointless. Do browser isolation. Use multiple browsers. Okay, do you need to, do I need to be direct with you here? Okay, I'll pass a little secret to you. Okay, I'm going to pass a little secret to you, but then some of you just are too dense. You can't. I have to tell you up front. Okay, put your zucking porn in a separate browser. If you're gonna do porn, do it from a different browser isolation. Otherwise, Facebook knows. Oh, this is your favorite thing, midget porn, like Ron Waxman. Zuck. What's the torproject.org refers to Tempest? John Ritchie? I always read torproject.org. Okay, I can't see the full link in there, but I will try it later. Okay. It explains the fingerprinting for Chrome. Oh yeah, well, I mean I don't have to explain fingerprinting for Chrome, but that's already there's a video for that. If you want to learn about some of these videos about what fingerprinting is and so on, please follow my YouTube account. And I only got one Zucking subscriber during this entire broadcast and one person left. So, Zuck is really winning, guys. I'm telling you. I mean, compared to my 14,000 people coming in here before, Zuck is winning tonight. Hello, Red Angel. How are you doing, my friend? Zuck is winning tonight. So, yes, I know most of you are already subscribed. But if you're listening to me and you're fairly new and you're interested in learning about this, please subscribe to the channel so you see what it is I'm talking about. Because, there's a lot of information here. So basically, setting up a habit of having multiple browsers. And as I said, and I'm being direct here. First time I've actually said this. Put your porn in a separate Zucking browser. Okay? Why would you want to mingle that? Why would you want to mingle that? What about mingling work, non-work? If you do browser isolation, the data from one doesn't get caught by the other. You don't think your activity in the browser goes to somebody? Of course, Google was storing that. Every time Chrome senses that you go to a website, it sent that to Google. Fortunately, Google allows you to delete it now, and I don't even know if they actually do delete it. Maybe they hold it for some amount of time. I can't tell you. That means if that's true, then it's very possible that somebody has everything, and you don't even know about something called DNS attacks, where they can actually see what websites you visit. Even if they don't actually see what you did at the website, they can see how many times you've been searching for porn.com or whatever website you're going to. And you say, well, I don't have to. I don't really care about that because I'm Ron Waxman and I talk about porn all day, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. Okay, it's actually a good technique. It's called disinformation. If you talk about it enough, then people say, well, that's not going to hurt me because that's open. That's wide open. You can't blackmail me for porn because that's already known. Okay, so, do you really want people to know what you do and have it in a public list to say, this is what I do? Is that something you want? Oh, John Ritchie, thank you. So John Ritchie, you're supporting what I just said there. Yeah, incognito mode is not going to protect you from browser fingerprinting. Instinctively, I knew that because I know exactly what incognito mode is, which is clearing the cookie. So going back to what I'm saying here, worrying about your privacy is not that big of an issue. It's not that complex. It's a discipline, and once you know what to do, it's not really that bad. If you're not on Facebook, one headache out of the way. Two, don't use your real name in the internet. I mean, this is just a long-term process. You start thinking about this. Okay, what do I do? Okay, let me not use my real name on the internet. Let me not be on Facebook. Let me use a VPN or a Tor router, or both, depending on the case. And then let me use browser isolation. And let me use only Thunderbird as my email client. And avoid sending messages on email. Wow, that's not a lot of stuff. It's actually just a long-term process. It's not that many things. It's not that many things, but those few things I just mentioned can actually stop 90% or more of the privacy leaks, maybe more. 90% of the leaks can be stopped with that. Now, if you start to say, well, can I stop the leaks 100%? Now it gets exciting. Then that's a little bit more work. But if I can help you stop 90% of the leaks with just a few procedures, Zuck, people, fight for it. Electronic frequency remotely spy and recreates the screen of the victim on the attacker screen. Its old government program. Its code name was Tempest. Bobby, there was that has nothing to do with encryption, though. But there's actually many tricks with that. And not only that, Bobby, there's actually many, many tricks that go beyond that, that are in the realm of that 1% of the privacy issues that I deal with. And just for fun, I'm going to give you an example, Bobby, Vicky. Just for fun, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that the government really wants to get you, Bobby, Vicky. Let's say that the government really wants to get you. See, this is not really my target market. But just for fun, so you understand that how vulnerable we all are. If the government wants to do it, all they have to do is fly an insect-sized RFID device, RFID, into your house. So they fly an insect into your house, okay, an insect-sized drone, which they have, and the insect can then, because it has some sticky substance on it, can stick itself to a corner of your household where it can be there forever and you'll never detect it. The RFID does not require any kind of battery, so basically this insect that flies to its location here can fly only one time, stick itself, and that's it. The RFID will be stationed somewhere in your house. Now, all I have to do now is send a focused radio frequency thing. This was shown on DEF CON, by the way. A focused radio frequency on the RFID. It will actually reflect data, including your voice and whatever it can sense, and that depending on what the RFID does. It's not an ID. It's a radio frequency thing. It reacts to that, but they tested it on RFID, and basically is a batteryless, powerless device that can spy on you in your zucking house with an insect-sized device. Okay, how does Zuck do you defend yourself against that? How does Zuck do you defend yourself against that? Well, I'm always looking. I don't think they'll waste time on me because I'm not that important, because I'm just a privacy guy. But if they really want to get me, I mean, I'm looking around and say, you know, that's the kind of stuff they could do. Slug a bug. But that's really not what I'm focused on. To be honest with you, it's pretty hard to evade the National Zucking Agency and the CIA and the FBI. If they want to go hack you, they can do it so many ways. I mean, all they have to do is put a new version of Stingray. There's whatever the 4G version of Stingray is, and stick around you and trace you with your zucking phone, and they can find you all day and listen to your broadcast and see all the stuff you're doing on your phone, and then using, insert a fake root certificate and all the other tricks that they can do to go read your HTTPS traffic, on and on and on. There's so many things they can do, and I'm like, that's not what I talk about. That's not what I talk about. I'm trying to defend the average person from the mass collection of data that's occurring everywhere, which can be used for any purpose. It can be used for mass surveillance. It can be used for private control. It can be used for weaponizing the data. And it's if you understand that, it's kind of exciting to understand what I know. And I know it because I'm a tech guy. I theorize all this all the time, and when I understand the technology, then I start to understand. Oh, if you can do that, because I'm a very, very advanced programmer, I would know then how to do X, Y, and Z. I would understand what it would take. Say, it's like saying, how can I hack an antivirus? How can I hack you with an antivirus? Which is obviously done every day. That's, in fact, most hacks go through an antivirus. Okay? And because I know that, and I say, okay, if somebody uses something called Metasploit to attack your Flash because your Flash wasn't updated, and they found a flaw in Flash, and then they insert Meterpreter into your in memory and start to execute commands on your device, including looking for files and uploading other malware that will persist on your device, and somebody's controlling your computer from a remote place, simply from a Flash vulnerability. You don't know that. You don't understand where that's coming from. So sorry for causing the topic change. So anyway, I'm just letting you know the difference in what I talk about and the focus. I'm not trying to, some of you are asking cybersecurity specific questions. Kind of like as if I'm Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson. And as much as that is important, it's often not understood, and it's not important for what I'm trying to do, because most people here will not understand the cybersecurity implications of using Metasploit, Meterpreter, and all that. If I go to that level, most people here will say you're going against the against the flow. Does running Brave in normal Chrome browser create browsers? Yes. You can run Chromium and Chrome, and that's a separate browser. You can run Chromium, Chrome, and Edge, which are all based on Chromium, and they'll be separate browsers. You can run Firefox and Firefox Developer, which are actually two different browsers. So there's actually an unlimited, well, not unlimited, but there's, you can load, just by different versions, you can load, 15 browsers on your computer easily. Okay, I don't think you need more than, a few. The ones that, I told you, if you're going to run Facebook, use Brave for that. But other than that, I only use, my day-to-day is only just Chrome, Firefox, and Tor browser. Okay, that's mostly what I use. Chrome, Firefox, and Tor browser. I always have the biggest danger in Chrome is location, so I always turn location off, 100% off, meaning I don't say ask. It's always completely off on all my browsers. I never allow location. Some websites will reject me, like Craigslist and Yelp, if you don't have location on. If you have a VPN with location off, sometimes they will reject it and will not allow you to use their site. And I say, when that happens, and it's not always the case, when they do that to me, my response is, Zuck you mother Zuckers. I don't zucking care. If you want to block me from your zucking website, I will not use your zucking website. Don't zucking care. That's my response to that. Some of you will say, oh, they want my location. I'm better turn off my VPN. Better turn off my whatever. It's like, no, I don't ever turn off your VPN. Don't ever turn off your VPN. If you turn off your VPN, stop doing anything. You only turn off your VPN when you're not doing anything. In this world, for goodness sakes, to be on the internet without a VPN, I can't help you. Somebody actually told me on YouTube, well, I don't have a VPN. I don't really not afraid of anything. Well, if you're not going to have a VPN, you're Zuck. I can't help you. Tell you directly. If you're not going to, protect yourself with a VPN, you're Zucked. Okay, I have a VPN. It's called bytesvpn.com. Many of you here are already on it. So if you want to have a excellent VPN with Tor routing included, it's an option. Bytes VPN does not have the problems of all of the big sites. If you're thinking that you need to use one of the big VPNs like NordVPN, PIA, IPVanish, and one of those guys, hide my ass so you get Zuck with a log. If you want to use those VPNs, watch my Zucking video on why using a popular VPN is a bad thing. It will tell you realistically what the problem is, because I used to use PIA. I would have stayed happily with PIA. I had no problem with PIA until they zucked up. And then I noticed all of them were zucking up. And that's when I said, I am going to stop using them. I made my own VPN to get away from the problems of being detected as being on a VPN. So Bytes VPN, because it's not famous, because it's really only a select group of people, they actually don't know it's a VPN, which means we are incognito. Yes, use my VPN, and obviously there are no logs. I use the same VPN, so if it has a log, it's logging me too. So trust me, I don't want myself to be logged. I have security stuff I'm doing. I would never want to log myself, so my VPN will never have a log because I don't want to be logged. Okay? You could say, well, you could delete the logs. Really? What if somebody comes in with a warrant tomorrow and say, I want to go investigate your logs? I don't want to have anything on there. There's no zucking log. It's set to null. My log goes to a file called null. Okay, if you want me to show you that, I can show you that. Say, yep, you want to go do a quick visit to my, use SSH to one of my VPN servers. Go check out what's stored on there. Nothing. There's not even any hard disk space for that. I don't have enough hard disk space on each of the servers to even keep a log. So you are zucking safe. Trust me. So Bytes VPN is my product. If you're thinking about a VPN. Some of you are already on PIA because of my word. Many of you are on PIA, and it keeps renewing, and you just keep renewing, and you don't worry about it. If you want to switch VPNs, what you have to do is terminate your PIA account, and they will not stop. You can still use it. It will terminate only after the subscription is over. If you do not do that, they will keep billing you forever and ever, and they will not refund you your zucking money. It's very legit, Bobby. Very legit. Okay, and plus the fact that I am the only VPN with Tor zucking routing, Bobby, Vicky. I am the only VPN with Tor zucking routing, which is totally legit. Tor routing. Portable Tor routing on my zucking device. Entire Meyer is on Bytes VPN. A lot of you are on Bytes. Russ is on Bytes VPN. So many of you are on Bytes VPN. So all you have to do is go on your phone and say, you know what, I want to be on Tor right now. So you switch your phone to the Tor VPN, and suddenly you're being routed through Tor because you want to research how to make a nuclear bomb. And it's like, I really want to make a nuclear bomb, so I'm so smart, I'm going to go change to Tor so I can go search how to do a nuclear bomb. So you can do that. I want to go see what WikiLeaks was saying about Clinton. Okay, I can do that on Tor. I'm not going to do that on a VPN. I want to do that kind of thing on Tor. And it's kind of nice when it's routed through Tor. So that's my product, Bytes VPN. Again, I did not want to get into the VPN business, but unfortunately I had to make a VPN for myself because we were getting zucked. I only do things because we were getting zucked. Yes. Bobby, Vicky, it does not rely on having a Tor router physical hardware because the Tor router is in the cloud. It's in my server. I have a big server that is the Tor router. and you're routing through there, and then from there I route it through Tor. So from your device, then it goes from your device encrypted through the VPN. Again, no logs. And then instead of being a standard VPN connection and going out to the internet, I then route it through Tor from the server. So you connect first as it's a standard VPN to my Tor server. The Tor server will route all the traffic through the Tor relay from there. So then you can switch back and forth. It's pretty nice. I have a Tor router myself, but I have to admit it's too inconvenient because too many steps to connect to a Tor router. Whereas connecting to Tor simply means changing my VPN to connect which server pool I'm using. I just pick. On Bytes VPN, it's just east, west, and Tor. So I said, am I going to go east, west, or Tor? That's all I have to worry about. Very, very simple. And again, no one knows we're on Tor because we're on a VPN because there's not enough users for the big companies to detect that it's a VPN. You know, if you're on a VPN, because of the number of users, the PI has hundreds of thousands of people using a single server. And so Google registers all that and sees all the duplicate IPs and starts blocking people. That's why it's kind of zucked up. Anyway, I've talked about a lot of different topics in here, and I would really appreciate it. I did not get more than one subscription on my YouTube account all night. Exciting. I didn't realize that the information I'm sharing is so useless that nobody actually subscribed to my YouTube account. I guess all of you here are already subscribed, that's why. But if some of you are not, I guess most of you are. So if some of you are not subscribed to my YouTube account, if you're just coming in, then and I'm not bothering with putting squash in. I just want real people in here. I don't really care what the Periscope numbers are. I care more about what the YouTube numbers are. So the trifecta, Bytes VPN, the trifecta. When I'm on Bytes VPN for connection, I'm really invisible. It's awesome. Yes, Russ, and plus the fact that you have a Tor router, so you're like, yes, I know, Red Angel. Most of you, the number of people here, most of you are part of the over 1,000 people already subscribed. But I need to find new people to subscribe that are interested in what I talk about. So anyway, this is such a it's a rant. I'm kind of frustrated, guys. Like I'm doing this like doing a lone battle. Not making money doing this. It's like a lone battle doing this, and it's as you know, I run Brax.me with my own funds, and I focused 100% of my time doing these YouTube videos, which means I don't have time to do much else. So if you're interested in supporting me, I set up a Patreon account for Rob Braxman. I put a link on it on the YouTube channel. So I believe I put a link also in Brax.me under my profile in there. So if you're able to, and somebody suggested that I set up a Patreon account, and that person already became a patron on my Patreon account. And if any of you want to check it out, go to my Patreon account. One of the things that one of the benefits I'm giving to patrons, depending on the level, the top level for Patreon account makes me your personal cybersecurity consultant. So if some of you are you need somebody, you're in business, you have a you're in business, and you really have, you're like a Jeff Bezos type, and you want to have a constant person that you can ask questions uh, about cybersecurity with your life, and you want to make sure that you check it out before you do something. Should I join this? Should I go to LinkedIn? Should I do this? What I should, if you want to get that kind of advice, you can join my Patreon account and be the, I call it the Brax Army Captain. That's the one that is like full service concierge cybersecurity consultant, and I can help you. You contact me, and get on any way you want, and get advice on how to handle your cybersecurity problems with a plan of action, so we know how to fix you up. That's my concierge plan. I have a next level plan, which is called the Brax Intelligence Agent, the Brax Agent, and this allows you to chat me on Brax and ask your questions on cybersecurity as often as you want. And that's the agent plan. And then if you're on the Brax Army soldier plan, I'll give you Bytes Tor, BYTZ Tor, so you can have Tor running in the cloud. You can use that for free. So that's some of the benefits I'm offering to people who subscribe to my Patreon account. I feel many people don't know who Zuck is or the term. Next time you can use his full name or use Facebook and the Zucking title. Zuck that, Starlight. I know. The fact that they don't know who Zuck is. Like, who the hell is Zuck? And I still get that. It's like, Zuck you. You're like, this is the image. This guy pays for advertising, so he looks good. He sounds good. Zucked up. So, he does evil every day, and people say, I actually saw somebody post on my Twitter account. I almost lost my control. I was ready to blast this person. Somebody who follows me on Twitter actually posted a Zucking quote from Zucking Zuckerberg in a positive way. I think the quote was something along the lines of, in a rapidly changing business, you will fail if you don't change. Something like that. So basically he said his secret to success in business is change. Something along those lines. Okay? And I wanted to respond, no, the secret to success for Zuck is to use people. Zuck's method of success in Facebook is to make sure that he uses each and every one of you, and you let him, and that's his success. Yes, of course, if you can cheat people, what is the best way to make money in the world? Fastest? Be a criminal. Cheat, lie, scam. Big bucks. That's what he does. That's how he makes a living. Okay? And he wants to do more. It's just incredible. Ignorance. Zuck is not ignorant. Zuck is a smart guy. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's doing it on purpose. They modify the terms of service so that instead of teaching you all the privacy rules, he basically said, we're going to state everything in the terms of service, all the things we're doing to spy on you, because 99.9999999% of you aren't going to read it anyway, so I have nothing to fear, but I'm legally covered. So he actually did. He put all the things they do over there. I was shocked by what they put on there. I was shocked, guys. He actually admitted the data policy for Facebook, which is one of my broadcasts, actually revealed the kind of stuff he's doing, like Wi-Fi triangulation to get your location, even if your location is turned off for the app. He basically ignored the app. He's going to try your location by capturing actual Wi-Fi data, Wi-Fi router data, MAC addresses. He uses ARP. Okay, ARP. He uses ARP to find your MAC addresses. It's actually on the data zucking policy if you know what you're reading. I read that and I said, what the zuck? Do you know how critical it is? If they find a MAC address, they can actually identify specific devices. They don't even need a browser fingerprint if they get a MAC address. Solution? What is my solution? Don't install the zucking Facebook app on your phone. And people say, that's too much. You're asking too much of us. We can't do that. We're not going to do that. We love Facebook. Well, if you love Facebook, sorry, you're going to be sucked. I'll put you in the 80% of the people or 90% of the people that can never convince. And I won't worry about you because you're hopeless. You're just going to be sheep. Okay? Let's make the 10% of you. Right now it's 1%. Let's make that 10%. Let's make the 10% of you be activists and say, that's sucked up. Hopefully, at some point, we'll convince up to 50% of you to say, something is not right here, Zuck. It's got to be an evil genius. I got to tell you. Thank you. Initials, okay. Okay, so anyway, go to my Patreon account and if you obviously I need help. This message is very hard to send out. I've never asked in the past. I just I'm just letting it happen. But if I'm going to sustain this fight, John, that's a different issue. That's a different issue. Different issue. If you're talking about affiliated with government, that was the last Jason Bourne movie, wasn't it? Jason Bourne movie. I will make it my bedtime reading material tonight. Thank you, Great Gold. So anyway, please, please back me up on YouTube. Watch my videos. When YouTube sees that you're watching my videos, then they share my videos to other people. Obviously, most of you here are already following or subscribed to my YouTube account. If I happen to have a person here or who dropped by who is not a subscriber to my YouTube account, please subscribe to my YouTube account. And again, just inviting you to check out my Patreon page, which is on the YouTube channel, as well as noted on Brax.me on my profile. And you can probably search me on Patreon itself, and then check out ways to support the Brax army. The bad guy is a billionaire. Bad guy's a billionaire. I mean, I'm a nobody. I used to be somebody, now I'm a nobody. So I don't have the resources to fight the billionaire. So we're going to have to get support for people to support us to fight the billionaire. Okay, my friends? Zuck sells humans. All our data is mined and sold out for profit, and we get nothing. Of course not. He gets to keep all of it. Bobby. Zucked up. Anyway, sorry for the... Of course, I don't have any control of it, but the signal died today, and we lost quite a few viewers when the connection went down. So sorry about that, and unfortunately, it's kind of a fact of life. Do a crowdfunding campaign. So that's it. Patreon is... Somebody suggested that. I never really thought of doing that before, and I'm trying to do this by myself with my own resources, but I guess that's probably a dumb move when your support can help. So yes, support the cause. I'm doing this. I'm making this. When I make the YouTube videos, guys, as a content creator, I'm actually not making anything. The YouTube channel has now been a full-time job, and with no income. And I made a decision to do that for the long term. at the moment, that means no income while I'm doing YouTube. And just so you know, because I could be programming, instead of programming, I'm doing YouTube. So programming has been relegated to 10% of what I do now, and 90% is content creation. So difficult battle, but I thought it was important. So okay. So anyway, thank you, my friends. Sorry for keeping you up. And tomorrow we'll talk about doxing and why it's important to know about doxing. Because if you know about doxing, you can stop yourself from being doxed. So you got nothing to hide? Let me dox you. So anyone who says, I don't have any issues with privacy, let me dox you then. We'll see what we find. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. And I'll have a great Saturday morning and afternoon, and I'll catch me in the evening. I'll be broadcasting tomorrow and Sunday and Monday for those of you new to my schedule. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Chat with me in Brax if you want. Okay. Good night, my friends. Thank you. Good night.